Pat's Run happens on April 12th, and it happens at Tempe, and we're going to talk about what the run does. But Perry Edinger is in studio with me, friend of Pat Tillman, former athletic trainer, and you've got some amazing stories of the man, Pat Tillman. Thanks.
I've been thank you for having me.
No, I've
been very fortunate part of my life to have Pat involved in it. It was great. I was able to take care of him as an athlete. Then I trained him for a marathon, and then I was able to call him as a friend. Through all those experiences, it was terrific. And to get to know the guy, I understand his legacy, and I'm so happy that other people cling on and celebrate his life.
One of the we were talking about losing a brother. When I lost my brother, I would say often in public that I don't want to just focus on how he lost his life. It's important to focus on how he lived his life. And I think that for people like you that knew him, to continue to talk about the man and what kind of a person he was, that is what's to celebrate, isn't it? The man that he was.
Oh, absolutely. When we started Pat's Run, it was a fine line between a celebration and saying goodbye. Mm-hmm. And throughout the years, we've been able to find a much better balance of, hey, this is a celebration of who Pat was, what he did, and let's let everybody celebrate the whole thing behind it.
Did you ever imagine when you started this that it would become the event that it's become?
Dude, when we had, the first year, everybody said we'd have 800 people. Just to spite them, I went out and bought 5,000 shirts. And the night before the race, I had to print 500 more.
Wow.
And I thought I thought that, man, if we got, 9 or 10,000 people, it would be amazing. And how long would it last? And the whole package. And then a couple of years later, one of Pat's geeky mathematician friends came up to Alex Garwood, which is his brother-in-law, and said, hey, I did the math. You're going to have 28,000 people at this thing. And I'm like, whoa, dude. I sure hope so, but if that's the case, you better get somebody in here that knows how to run this thing.
It is, from a fan's perspective, we all loved Pat as a player at ASU, the attitude and the love for life, and the riding to practice on his bicycle, and just kind of the things about him that we loved him not just as a player but as a human being, and then for him to play for the Cardinals and stay local, and he was such a fan favorite. And then the statement of really saying, I really haven't done anything, and I'm going to go serve my country, and I'm going to walk away from the NFL and go serve my country. The story is such an incredible story, and to see people all these years later turn out to honor that kind of commitment and dedicated to the world is incredible.
He tried to place himself as just another person. Gosh, I don't know if I'm going to make the Cardinals, so I can't go buy a car.
Yeah.
I got to ride my bike, or, my car doesn't have air conditioning, but, I don't have the money to get it fixed yet till I get it, till I make the Cardinals. That type of thing, that attitude, people kind of look at that and respect. It's real easy to say, oh, I look at that. I just got a huge contract. I'm going to buy a Mercedes and I'm going to buy this monster house, but he wasn't that way. He just was just a down-earth person, and he wanted to always do better. We didn't find out until after he passed, and the first Pat's Run, when this gal called us and said, hey, can I do something with our kids? And we said, what do you mean? So, well, every Monday when the Cardinals didn't have practice, Pat would come and read to my kids at the elementary school, and we're like, can you tell us about that, please?
Wow.
Because Pat would never talk about it, and you're just kind of like, well, there's another aspect I didn't know about. I thought I knew the guy pretty good, but, it just didn't happen.
Have you come to realize, maybe you did early on, do you realize how much this event means to the community?
I do, and it's been said, Arizona's a special place. Phoenix is a special place. We have some special things going on, but you name me a better day of the year than Pat's Run for the state of Arizona.
Yep.
We can host a Super Bowl every once in a while. We can have a big concert every once in a while. But every year, name a better event that signifies Arizona and is the best thing that happens in the state of Arizona on that single day.
And it's indescribable, but I promise you everyone should feel it at least once to go into that stadium and cross the 42-yard line. It is an emotional experience no matter who you are to do that.
Dude, if you're a football fan, you go and you watch the games and you're in the stands. It's like, oh, what would it be like to be down there? Well, we've had a chance as some kids have, rushed the field.
Yeah.
Well, we give you the chance to rush the field legally.
Yeah.
And with a lot of emotion to it. I mean, we ask you to do things that are kind of out of your realm. Hey, it's easy to work 8 to 10 hours a day and come home and eat dinner and hang out in front of the TV and go to bed. But to dedicate yourself, like Pat did, to be a little bit better and spend a couple or 3 months to get a little bit better so that on that day, April 12th, you can go 4.2 miles and finish on the football field. It's a huge accomplishment for anyone that can do it, and we're so happy they can. And then to have all the emotion of the things behind Pat, and we try and make an entrance into the stadium, and we try and recognize people that we can as they cross the line. It's great.
What's going to be new this year? What's different? Is there anything different this year from years past? It seems like it evolves every year. What's going to happen this year?
Oh, this is a big year. I mean, every year's a big year.
Yeah.
But we try and look at where we could do better. One thing we'd like to do is people who want to try and run fast, we've kind of put the first seven corrals up there for them to run fast. They've always come back and said, well, you can't run fast because people are slow up front. Well, we've done that. The big thing is when you finish and you have this emotion, we want to keep you and we want you to give a chance to share with other people. So we have a Tillman tailgate now. It used to just be an expo, but now we have a band and we have a beer garden, and we have an area that you can hang around and you can share your experiences and you can have a great day.
I saw you at the Pints for Pat event, and it was kind of the kickoff. And even then, and Pablo was with me. It's emotional. And you did such a great job of allowing people that knew Pat to come up and tell some stories, you included, and it's giving those of us that didn't know him personally a sense of who he was. And I think all of us kind of crave that. We see the kind of human being he was, and we always want to know more. And even that event, as intimate as it was such a great way to get to know a little bit more about him.
I have tried over the past 2 or 3 years. My stories for people who have been around me a lot are the same stories. But Pat had a lot of people around him, and he had a lot of experiences with people. He had 100 and something football players around him. Mm-hmm. Every one of them have unique stories. Mm-hmm. And they give people a chance 21 years later to help connect with Pat. And I ask some of these people to come. Some are comfortable speaking, some are not comfortable speaking. But those that are, I ask them to come to tell a couple stories and what Pat meant to them. And it just brings back to life Pat. Mm-hmm. And 21 years later, I can't have a better day than to listen to a story that's different than the one I know about a friend of mine. It brings a smile on my face, it brings a tear to my eye, and I'm like, that's a great day.
Yeah, or even a different perspective on a story that you do know, just another point of view on a story you do know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The last thing I'd like to ask you about it is, and I think it's the icing on the cake, is the money that's raised that goes to the Pat Tillman Foundation. I know you're so proud of the foundation. Can you talk about what the foundation does, about these Tillman scholars, and how it doesn't just end with that scholarship? Can you talk about that for a minute?
So the foundation has developed a program that former military or their spouses are eligible to apply for financial aid, which we provide. We call them Tillman Scholars. And we evaluate these people by not only their resume in the service, but and their educational resume, but what they would like to do to help the community. And we look at these aspects, and we provide financial support for people who want to go out there and do better and do a better job. I've had the honor of being on committees to select these Tillman Scholars, and it makes me feel like I am not worthy. I shouldn't even be picking these people. I mean, the people that are on here are fantastic people. They're going to go try and get water to starving people in Africa, and they're going to try and help people in all aspects. Mental health is a problem, and they've got a method to fix it, but they need financial support to get into that spot, and those are the kind of things we do.
And also then after the scholarship, after they've finished their education, it doesn't end there. They are always Tillman Scholars. They have events for them throughout their lives and their careers, and they're connected, correct?
Not only, yes, they are Tillman scholars the rest of their lives. If you take our foundation director, Tillman scholar.
She was on the air with us.
You take our current race director, Tillman scholar. I mean, the community, we ask the Tillman scholars to come back and to share their stories and to lead groups. And they're more than happy because now they have a community of people who are highly motivated that they can communicate to. Every Tillman scholar has someone else that they can talk about items that are important to them, that's a motivated person, and it's just a great community.
The website is patsrun.com. You can sign up there. You can learn more information there. This is a family event. If you're not a runner, you can walk it, and you'll go out in the back behind the runners, but it is an event that is emotional from the moment you get there to the moment you cross that finish line, and now they're going to have the tailgate. It is an event that is uniquely Arizona that serves such a great purpose. Learn more about Pat Tillman, and you can now help support an organization that does great work. Go to patsrun.com. Thank you so much for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, I appreciate that.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.